Today I have my Giantex 3-in-1 charcoal smoker, and it needs to be finished for seasoning. My favorite thing to do with that is a batch of cheese. Now, of course, we want to do cheese on a cool day, and we're still in the middle of winter. The creek is raging, so I hope that the background noise is not too bad. But we have a decent day out here. The wind is not blowing, so that makes it perfect to run the smoker. Now, what I did was I grabbed myself an assorted pack of the Kona wood pellets. Now, I have given the hickory a good try, and my wife asked me if I could do the cheese a little bit more mild. So today we're going to try the apple variety. I'm going to go ahead and open that up. And then, because of the smoker's door size, I'm going to use the tube. Normally I would use the tray and I just take the smoker apart and set the tray down in there. But I wanted to use the tube today just because it'll go right in there and I won't have to mess around. And this also shows you that the tube works well. I usually use the tube in either the pellet smokers or the Oklahoma Joe Sahoma. But again, today we're going to use it here because it'll fit well. Now I'm just going to fill this about halfway, maybe a little more than half with pellets. I don't want to overdo it. Even if it's a mild wood like apple, if we put too many pellets in, we'll still get really strong smoked cheese. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and light this and set it to the side. I happen to have my blowtorch right here. And this is what I use for my Searzall attachment, but I have the attachment removed. And be careful not to burn yourself. I'm going to be able to shoot this down in there, just like this. Now you can also use a haystack charcoal lighter and just set it in there and light it with a match or with a regular lighter and let it burn. And once that's burned up, typically these things will be good and going. I'm going to go ahead and just set this behind the smoker so that way the smoke does not come at us. Set that back there. And we're just going to let that burn for a while and let those charcoals go. Now, also, for those of you who are not regular watchers of the channel, right behind me is a fire extinguisher. Always. That's the only tool that you cannot do without. I have one here and one under my kitchen sink all the time. Now today, I just grabbed whatever cheese I had in the house, and we've got a Colby Jack here, and we've got a Monterey Pepper Jack, and then I had a block of cheddar, and so I cut it in half. Normally, I like to buy all these 8-ounces because when I slice them up, they end up fitting a club cracker perfectly, and that is my favorite cracker. I like the multi-grain. Now, we have this grill grate here, and if it's cold enough, then I don't typically bother with doing anything else, but if it's a little warmer, I will definitely put an additional grate on to help support the cheese, because when the cheese gets warm, it tends to slump a little bit. And this brand of cheese really is kind of soft. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to arrange these right here and give them just a little bit of spacing. Now, normally I would do twice this amount of cheese, but I just want to run enough to get a nice little test. And again, my wife wanted it a little bit mellower than I do on a normal basis. So I'm going to go ahead and just run this small amount with the applewood chips and not overdo it. Again, not only will I get some great smoked cheese, but I will also finish the seasoning of my smoker. Now I'm going to leave the top vent open because I want to get good circulation. One of the key things with the cheese is you want to keep that smoke moving and cover it with as much as possible. Then after the cheese is done smoking, you can let it sit here and rest. Now for me, I'm just going to let it go overnight, and then the next day I'll pull it in the house and put it in the refrigerator on a plate, unwrapped, and then when I come home from work, you and me will take another look at that. So let's check out the pellets and see how the pellets are doing. Now, if I can remember right, I only cut the video for one error in something I said. So you've been watching this for pretty much the entire time that this has been burning. And if you look at it around the edges, you can see that there's a little bit of red, and that means it's good. Now, the way I check is I blow it out, and then if I can blow it back and get it going again, I know it's ready. So let's go ahead and do that. So it's out now, and look, that smoke's coming off. That's a really good sign. And then big breath. It's close. And look at it light. Because it relit, I know that those charcoals are good enough for that thing to burn. So now, we'll go ahead and open the bottom door. And I'm going to show you something here that I like to do, and you don't have to do this. You can lean it up on the side, or you can even lay it down flat. But what I like to do is grab a little river rock to set this on, because I want to get it down in there, and I want to make sure that it has a place to sit so it doesn't have to sit too close to the edge. So I'll just set this rock in here, and I'm going to take a picture after I turn the camera off, and I'll put it right up here for you. So then what I'm going to do is, because this is going to be hot, I'm going to go ahead and put on my glove. This is my Weber knit grill glove, and I love these things. And for medium to low temperatures, these are awesome. And they have grips on them, which I really like. I have the Cuisinart silicone ones for when I'm handling food like pork butts that are really greasy, and they can go right in the dishwasher, which I really like about them. So now I'm going to go ahead and blow it out again. And you can see it's going good. The top of this thing is going to be hot, so that's why I have the glove here. And I can go ahead and feed it in here. It's a really, really tight fit. So you probably didn't have to have the rock, but I'm going to spin that just a little bit. And then that way, when I take that picture, you'll be able to see what's going on really good there. The most important thing is that you don't lay it down to where the pellets fall out of the tube. So like I said, normally if it's flat, it will work. But if it's angled up just a little bit, it works better, and you never have to worry about them going out. Now, I'm going to leave this just like this for a minute. And actually, I'll go ahead and open this door too. And what we're looking for is we're looking to get some smoke flow. When the smoke is moving up really good, it will naturally just want to come out of the top. So it looks like it's smoking excellently here. So we'll go ahead and close that back down. And then we can watch it come pouring out of the top. Now there is a little bit of gaps on these doors, and over time I will adjust them a little bit and get them a little closer. If you wanted to, you could use felt. Actually, on my Cuisinart vertical smoker, I literally just put in a sheet metal screw because I wanted to hold that door down a little more snug. That's always an option, but I'd like to avoid that if I can, because I want these doors to be able to work, and since they have hinges, they should work out just fine. And a little tiny bit of smoke loss is not the end of the world. It actually will increase the airflow through the smoker and reduce the amount of stale tasting smoke, which can give you stale food and that tastes kind of bitter. I think we're just about wrapped up here. We're going to go ahead and let this thing run for whatever time that is on those pellets, which I would say 4 to 5 hours from how many pellets I put in there. And then we're going to just let it sit out here overnight. And in the morning, I'll come out, I'll grab it, throw it in the fridge, and after work, I'll bring the camera back out here and the cheese back out here, and we'll talk about how it turned out. So that'll just be 1 second for you, but that'll be tomorrow for me. So I'll see you then. All right, it's the next morning, and it was kind of cool out today, so I went ahead and left the cheese out here for a couple of hours, and we're still not into lunchtime yet, so it is still cool. But we did end up with clear skies this morning and bright sunshine, so it's kind of changing the whole situation here. Well, let's go ahead and open up the lid. And I don't know how well you can see what I've got going here, so I went ahead and took a picture a second ago, And you can see that right there. And basically, the cheese did exactly what it's supposed to do. It has the looks that it's supposed to have, and the edges around here have that little tint of smoke to it, and that's how you know that it got good smoke. Now what I have here is a plate that will sit good in the refrigerator and a Ziploc bag. What I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna go ahead and take and put those pieces of cheese in this Ziploc bag. Now typically I'll put anywhere from 2 to 3 pounds in each Ziploc bag, and the reason is that I want some air circulation around the edges. So we'll go ahead and load that up just like this so you can see what I'm doing here. And I want you to see the bottom there. You see how that's marked up a little bit. And if, like I said, if it's a little warmer out, you'll definitely want to put another piece of grate or something on there, like a grill mat works really well. It does help support that. And you see, like with this one that's a little bit shaped differently, it has a different impact there with the grill grates. So now, you see here that I have this in the bag. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it almost sealed. And then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna inflate it. Doesn't have to be like a balloon. So now we've got it inflated a little bit, so there's a little bit of air circulation, and then we're just gonna move the cheese around. And then this doesn't have to be perfect either, but I want a little air in there and a little bit of gaps between each cheese. So what's happening here is we want this cheese to kind of cure with the smoke a little bit. And what will happen is that the smoke will just kind of get into the cheese a little bit better, but it'll also mellow out at the same time. I'm gonna go ahead and pop this in the back of my fridge for say a week. It might be okay in about 5 days. The milder that you smoke it, the less smoke you use, the sooner it'll be ready to eat. But definitely do not eat this on the first day. For me, I like to taste it sometimes on the first day, so that way I know where I'm at, because I have a good idea of what the end result will be from the beginning. But as a beginner, I would recommend you not do that. Now, once you get more experience, go ahead and sample it every time you do it. And also, you don't have to use a lot of cheese. You can just do a couple of blocks at a time and get the hang of what you like and what works best for you. So we're gonna go ahead and cut now, and then we'll come back with this one probably in the kitchen in about a week, which will only be 1 second for you. So it's time to taste the cheese. Now, it has been 5 days. I would like to go a couple more days, but it's gonna be really bad weather tomorrow. And once it starts pouring down rain, it's almost impossible to film outdoors because of the noise. So I'm gonna go ahead and show this to you. And I did cut a sample to make sure that we were good to do this video. Now, the one thing I wanna point out is moisture in your bag. If you're gonna keep your cheese in the bag for a long period of time, whether it be a month or longer, you need to get rid of all of that moisture. So whether you use some sort of a moisture packet, like I salvage some from my jerky bags sometimes, or whether you just buy them, because you can buy them on Amazon in a bulk pack, and then you can just toss them in your cured jerky or your cured cheese pack and then vacuum seal together, and it'll suck that moisture right out of the air that's remaining. And what we have here is we have our 3 types of cheese. We've got the cheddar that we cut in half here, and then we have the pepper jack, and we have the Colby jack. And I went ahead and cut this one and already checked it, but we're gonna go ahead and cut another slice off. I always cut out of the middle, and then I push the cheese back together when I store it, so that way it has no cut edge exposed. And then when I get to the end, I will cut it kind of like a wedge, so that way I don't get all the smoke in one last slice. If you do that, you probably want to toss that last slice out unless you're close to the end of the block and it's been there for more than a month, because then it'll be pretty mellow. I'm going to go ahead and show you this piece that I just sliced. Tilt it sideways, and you can see that the color is pretty uniform, and it looks like it's going to be pretty mild. And again, I went a little mild. I used a mild wood pellet because my wife wanted a little bit milder cheese. For 5 days, that is perfect. I think going mild is the key to this one. The smoke flavor is really mellow, and I can tell that it was the apple wood pellets, especially with the cheddar. The cheddar tends to let me taste the flavor of the wood pellets more than some of the other ones. I'm going to go ahead and set that rest of that aside. That's really good, but I want to check the pepper. I will probably end up eating all this pepper myself. I'm going to cut a couple of slices of this. I'm going to go ahead and hold that up. And then you can see that the ends have a little bit more color on them and the sides are a little bit milder looking. Go ahead and get a bite of that. That's really good. Now, I want to point out that I didn't use a fancy cheese. I just used a regular store brand cheese and added the smoke to it, and it's really transformed it into something special. If you buy just regular cheese, you'll be able to transform it too. Now, the one more thing that I'm going to do before we go is I'm going to try it on a cracker. And these are my favorite crackers. They are the Keebler multigrain. I like Keebler Club all the time, but the multigrain is my favorite. It just kind of has a nutty taste to it. And I think it goes really well with the cheese. That's what I cut this extra piece for. Put that on there like that. I always eat it upside down. That smoked pepper jack with this club cracker is really good. The only thing that would make it a little better would be a slice of ham in there. That would be really yummy. So it looks like we have a successful first cook. Technically not really a cook, it's a cold cheese smoke. But I like to do that so that way I can get this thing smoked up so that way it's ready for its actual first cook. And that'll be ribs. I've already shot that video because obviously I did the cheese and then the tasting took 5 days. So that video will be on the next week's video that you'll be able to see on the playlist. But so far, so good. This is the Giantex 3-in-1 vertical charcoal smoker, and it worked great for a cold smoke. And again, pellets, the Kona brand apple made a really nice mild flavor for the cheese that I've just sampled. So check this out. We're going to do a lot more tests with this smoker and put it through the ringer. Again, I've already done ribs and they turned out great. And after that, they'll probably do some of the chuck roast and a small pork butt to get those going in the really near future. So thanks for watching. I do have affiliate links below. If you use those, I will get compensated, but it won't cost you anything. And if you're gonna buy this smoker, please check out the manufacturer affiliate link. I can't say Amazon prices, but I can say that on the Giantex website, I paid $67 for this, and you should find comparable prices all over the place. So check this out and see what you think. Thanks for watching.